Welcome to the Faces and Heels podcast and the spanking new introduction by the wizard himself, Angry Geek Lewis Perry.
Chris Jericho did that intro? What?
No, the other guy. That's you. And
Yeah, I did the intro.
You did.
My mom liked it. I know.
Well,
my
mom's
mom
got good taste.
I know, she had me.
Clearly, right. So we are both wearing red tonight because tonight we have, I think, an appropriate guest for the month of October. We're wearing blood red to celebrate our special guest tonight, who often is causing other people to bleed. Sometimes he's bleeding himself. We got to find out the secret to getting that blood out of his gear. Welcome, Dr. Redacted.
That was kind of goofy. You don't... Every time we have a guest, you don't do it right. So, I mean...
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest this evening in the month of October, the one, the only, Dr. Redacted. That's how, in the month, see, he hears voices in his head. That is how crazy he is, because he brings everyone blood red. The one, the only, Dr. Redacted.
Well, that's my nightmare for the week.
That's an intro, Jack. That is an intro. Am I right or am I wrong? That is an intro.
I mean, if you're giving Dr. Redacted nightmares, you did something right.
Yeah,
I know. Anyway, the doctor is in the house. He may see you now.
That's right.
There we go.
Thank you so much for being with us, because it's really cool to have you as a guest here, not only because of your wrestling career, but because I had a chance to talk to you and you have an extensive knowledge about one of our other favorite topics, the world of comic books.
Oh, it's a shame because I haven't been collecting anymore, but it's just because I ran out of room and I had such a big collection at one point. I just had to what? Oh.
Lewis is about to brag about his collection. Hold on.
No, I was just saying, running out of room. I can't even move in this room.
Yeah, and it just got too frustrating.
Yeah, right on. Well,
I'm not gonna brag.
Not what, Lewis? What are you gonna do? You're gonna turn that green
I'm not
screen
gonna
off?
brag. We got a guest here. It's Halloween time. We got a cool guest. I'm not gonna brag.
All right.
Even though the doctor was like, what would the term be? Because he was talking about my voice earlier, and he was psychoanalysis. Doctor, what were you doing?
I was talking about how you sound like a narrator for the Bernstein Bears, and I loved it.
Anyway, we gotta talk wrestling. We gotta
real quick. Let me turn it on you, Lewis. What is your 3 most prized books?
Oh, for comics or porn?
Yeah, either or. Surprise me.
Jesus.
Okay, 3 most.
Start with comics.
Okay, let's talk comics. Okay. Oh, my 3 most prized. Okay. Aquaman Volume 1, Issue number 3.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
Okay. I would have to say my first appearance of Two-Face.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, that's a good one.
Yep. And my... Now, that is Batman Volume 1. And my next one of my...
Malice and Mistletoe, like Glenn Portman just said.
I don't know who wrote that one. Hi, Glenn. And my third... Oh, geez. I would have to say my journey into mystery with Thor and Hercules on the front cover when it transformed into Thor, number 1.
I was going to ask
really
if this
wasn't.
was going to be a full DC podcast, but I like that we have some diversity now.
Yeah. No, because Thor, my bulk of my collection. Now, those people that listen to Angry Geeks and watch Angry Geeks are going to be really surprised. The bulk of my collection is in order: Superman, Batman, and Thor, followed up with Green Lantern and Iron Man. Those are the bulk of my collection, talking in the thousands. So those are the big ones. Followed then by Hawkman, Hawkman's after that. Multiple runs of Robin. My son Cody is like, why do you have so much of this? I'm like, I don't know.
I want to know
I
why you
just
have so much of it. Jeez.
I know it's bizarre. I have Avengers, West Coast Avengers. I have 2 complete runs of that volume
That's another
2.
strange one. Like what? Who
I
does
know, isn't it?
Tell me
And
now how much
it's
you love
like,
Excalibur. Come on.
oh, Excalibur. Only I got like
I love
volume 1. I have completed the run about maybe 88%. If I go to CLZ, we can go through it and I can tell you. Now, another complete run that I have 2 complete runs of, and I'm not embarrassed by this at all, is Blue Devil. Blue Devil #1. And now Dan Mishkin and Paris, they both laughed at me because they don't even have the complete run. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of a loser. And I even have 2 appearances of Blue Devil. The first appearance, which is the Firestorm manual. I got 2 copies of his first appearance. So yeah, I'm kind of a loser at that. But I don't care. I like the character. But I also have 2 complete runs of Blue Devil, 2 complete runs of Booster Gold, 2 complete runs of Volume 2 of the Blue Beetle, and yeah, I know. I suck. I got no life. That's why I hang out with Jack Purcell. I mean, that's why I'm friends with Jack Purcell.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing over here?
If I had only
what
worked
are your
on
top 3 favorite books?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm going to give you an answer that probably won't paint me in the greatest light, but
Oh boy.
Pre-divorce, my top 3 would have been Avengers #1, Avengers #2, and Avengers #3, which I no longer have. But that was my little kid goal, was I wanted to have Avengers 1 through 300, and I did have them, but I no longer do.
2 300? What the hell? You can't even count, and you're a school teacher?
What are you talking about? 1 through 300. What do I need to count?
Oh, I thought you were saying 1, 2, 300, and I thought you were trying to count like that.
No, man. I got Avengers #1. I was like, the little child in me was so happy. But that would have been my answer then. My answer now, I say it kind of paints me in a bad light because now my favorite 3 things are books I've worked on. So it would have been The Guardian Project, which was a kind of an independent publishing with Stan Lee. So that was the time I got to work with Stan Lee, which was really like one of my 2 big goals to get into comic books, and I never thought it would happen.
Richie and nice.
Maybe the thing you can brag about the most.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that I never even bragged or never even like talked about to my friends when I was younger because I just thought it was too ridiculous. Like, who am I? Like, I'm never going to do that. And then it just ended up happening. My other one would be Gotham Undergrounds. It's my favorite Batman project that I worked on. And the third one would be Malice and Mistletoe because I was really proud of having that project after I left DC and Marvel and did my own thing. So those are my top 3 right now.
That's sick.
Yeah, what were your top 3 while we're at it?
Oh, okay. Top 3 books I owned was Amazing 300 because I was always a really big Venom fan, and then the movie came out.
Yeah. I like the movie. I like both of them. I did because
like the most embarrassed. Like, who wrote the dialogue for these movies?
I did, and my mom. We are a writing team. Hey.
The first one, it was embarrassing. All right, so true story, because Jack's talking about pre-divorce. I won't get into pre-divorce stories, but I was like, I told all my friends, I was like, I'm not seeing it. No. And then some girl was like, you want to go on a date to go see this movie? And I was like, yeah. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. And then I did, and I was like, oh my God, this movie's so bad. The wig they put Woody Harrelson in at the end, oh my God.
It's embarrassing. It's like Green Lantern. Like, who the hell wrote Green Lantern?
Hey! You don't talk about that. It's all. Hey! That's all I had. You don't talk about that movie.
All right. Sorry.
Hey. That's all I had.
Okay. Sorry I said that.
First appearance of Howard the Duck was a big one for me.
I got the first appearance of Kiss, multiple copies. Howard the Duck 13, 12, 13. I have multiple copies of that.
I had the whole run plus 2 copies of each of those. I believe that's 21 and 22, or is that 12 and 13?
12 and 13.
Okay, yeah. And I was really proud. I had the full run of Godzilla too. I also really liked Godzilla versus
Marvel
Avengers.
or IDW?
Marvel.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Thank you.
I just thought it was ridiculous, like the panel of Thor with Mjolnir flying into Godzilla's like eye, and then
Yeah.
Godzilla just like swatting him away after.
So great. That was the Herb Trimpe run, right?
Yeah. But my favorite overall like Marvel story, or just story in general, I think is the original Mark Millar Civil War. That's an untouchable book.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I love his work. I love The Authority. I don't know if you're a fan of The Authority.
I've never read it.
Okay, let me see. I may, just like Animal Man, have a second copy of that trade. And if I do, I'm going to give it to you because you should absolutely read that.
Okay. Now, how
You'll
did you
love
feel
it.
about Ultimates 1 and 2? That's my next question.
I loved Ultimates. I loved it.
I thought they
yeah.
were so good. Like perfect books once again.
Yeah, and here's a question for you, because I think this fits into a lot of the genre we just kind of covered. But how did you feel about supervillain team up? Were you into that?
I got a couple of those.
I never read them.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a couple of those. You know, another book that I have multiple copies of is Green Arrow Volume 3, Issue 53.
Why?
Because I got their signed, because I forced this dude that I know that worked on the book to sign them. And whenever he comes to the house, if I find him, I have him sign them all the time.
Yeah, nice.
And
Nice.
yeah.
I gotta
Thank you,
say,
man.
Jack worked on it.
Oh, thanks. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. The only time I ever wanted a Green Lantern or Green Arrow book was the Neil Adams, the drug cover.
Oh
Speedy.
yeah.
Really? I got 2 copies of that. And Neil, God rest.
Yeah. Great guy.
He actually he autographed one for me.
That's cool.
But he also personalized it for me as well.
That's sick.
Which was awesome. You know, we're supposed to be talking about wrestling. We're sitting here talking about comics. This is awesome.
We got time, brother. We got time.
I don't care at all because this is my life. Both supervillain team up. I'm trying to see how many issues of that I have, because I call it hunting. I go to flea markets and I go to yard sales and garage sales and tag sales, and I find a lot of stuff. We got comments. Oh,
Jamie Dolan.
Yeah,
says,
it's my
guys.
boss.
Isn't this the wrestling show?
Yes,
I'm sure Jamie just wants to hear more about Dr. Redacted. She's a closet wrestling fan.
Yeah, Jamie Dolan, co-host of the Angry Geeks show and part of the Angry Geeks network. She's kind of like the boss. Yes, it is a wrestling show, Jamie. And then she puts up a big smiley face.
But it's okay. I like talking about comics, so this is good.
Yeah, we are talking about wrestling, Jamie. You just came in during break. Yeah. Station identification. This is supposed to be backstage. And
oh, we're alive? What's going on?
Yeah, you were live. Oh my god. Supervillain team up. I got. Oh, sure. Just Jamie says, just making sure. All I heard was Green Arrow talk. Yeah, she's back, folks. She's back and in charge.
Green Arrow and heroin. That's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
The highlights of the Green Arrow saga.
Yes. All right. Supervillain team up.
It was so great, man. Like Adolf Hitler got revealed as being the secret identity of the hate monger. It was crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Could you believe it?
That's hilarious. Before I forget, another key issue that I was like when I first got it, I was like so proud of myself, was first appearance of Bane. That was a big one for me. When the second appearance with it's like the similar cover to the first one, but I think he's holding a cop over his head. Oh no, it's the reverse cover. I'm sorry. If I'm not mistaken, right?
You're probably right. I don't remember. Lewis, you might. Lewis has a weird brain for stuff like that. He remembers a lot of stuff.
Yes, I do. Are you talking about Vengeance of Bane? I can't find my supervillain.
Those are like the painted covers, right? Like
really nice.
Well, you have Vengeance of Bane, and you have the Vengeance of Bane 2.
Yeah, they were a little bit longer books, and then the second one is a green cover, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and Jamie says he just has a weird. What? He
just
just
had
had
a weird brain. Period.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I believe it.
We
My
love it. I
God.
mean, I can't remember half this stuff. This guy remembers all the things I repressed.
Yes, I'll find out the Bane. Jack, continue the conversation.
I love that he's like
Yes,
really
sir.
looking into this.
I know.
I
This guy goes down these rabbit holes, and it's impossible to get him out. He'll figure it out.
Wait, Lewis, can I
yeah,
ask you
I
one
will.
more question about comics?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, since you said that I've talked to Jack about this, but we're just
Yep.
getting to know each other because you're the evil sidekick. So since you mentioned Aquaman was like one of your top books, New 52 Jeff Johns Aquaman, best Aquaman run ever? Yes or no?
The answer is yes, Lewis.
You will be judged on this, Lewis.
No, it's not.
He's an idiot.
Oh!
I'm just
Your soul is mine.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
God.
Oh no! Peter Davids was, man, when they chopped off his hand and gave him the hook. That was awesome. And Jamie is speechless right there.
The artwork alone can't compare, man. Like Ivan Rice it's like a masterful run that he does on the Aquaman series with Jeff Johns. It's masterful.
Yeah, I know. No.
Crazy.
It was a good run, yes, but Peter David's run was just so cool. I mean, it was only because they took a totally different look at him when they had his hand eaten by the piranha and a whole freshwater fish. Oh, I can't control them. Oh my God. That was really cool because it was the first time. Now I'm showing my age here. It was the first time we had something different in Aquaman. So I think that's my appeal for it.
Okay,
So
and now here's my counter argument is that New 52 embraced all the things that people talk about Aquaman, make fun of him for, and
I know it did.
Twist on it, which
Yep. No, I totally agree with you. The orange and everything. Hey, it's it's body armor, it's bulletproof. Totally get all that. Yeah, I totally get all that. But it's like, again, going back to Peter David, that was the first time Aquaman was different. So we always had the Filmation Aquaman and the Super Friends Aquaman. We never had nothing different until the Peter David run came along. Even what Tide in Times, it was the same old tired thing until Peter David, and then all of a sudden, long hair, the beard, the hook, and Wonder Woman scream. Hi, Jamie, and the whole hook. But like, hey, that thing stinks. Well, you're going to do something about it because that's when he had the harpoon in his arm. So it was like, this is something different. They made Aquaman cool. So for being a comic fan in that era, again, showing my age, that was awesome. It was brand new. And Jamie says, hey, again. So that made it cool. But now, yeah, with the new 52 Aquaman, yeah, I get all that of him, all right, yeah, it's body armor, it's this, it's that, yeah, he's strong out of water. Yeah, I really understood that, and I get it, and I have the complete run of that, plus the trades. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but my appeal is because for the first time in my entire life, we have something different in Aquaman.
That's fair.
Okay, that's why. That's my appeal because we finally got something different. That's why I like the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds because it's the only thing I had besides the Challenge of the Super Friends on a Tuesday night in 1977 when I finally had a Green Lantern live action and
you should have
Hawkman.
Stuck with 1977.
Yeah.
Hey, I was 5 years old, 7 years old.
Stuck with it.
Anyway.
Well, so let's kind of transition into pro wrestling because I had a chance to hang out with the good doctor at the Blitzkrieg versus Limos show, which was awesome. And when I heard you describe Werewolf by Night special on Disney Plus,
I loved it.
It was like everything I could have hoped for. I don't want to spoil too much, but I guess we can talk about it. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
And Lewis, you've seen it.
Yeah, Jamie and I reviewed it last night on
Okay.
It was
Angry Geeks.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Top 10 Marvel production yet. I loved it.
Yeah.
Man-Thing was incredible.
He looked so good. Could you imagine if
And
DC would have done that?
we
with,
should just
like,
get Jamie
Sonic
on
instead?
here because, like, Jamie said it was amazing.
Why DC can't figure out is beyond me. Although I'm going to say this right now, I have hope for Black Adam. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah,
And
me
I
too.
love Shazam. Shazam is maybe my favorite DC movie ever. And you guys know, like, I'm a Batman guy, but Black Adam has hope. We got Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher. I think Isis is in it. There's a lot of potential here. Maybe we see more of the JSA. It better be good.
I'm not trying to be like the wrestling guy.
And we
but
got the favorite coming.
Lewis, you're talking over Dr. Redacted.
Hey, come
I'm
on,
sorry,
man.
Doctor.
No, I'm not trying to be
Hey,
the
yo.
wrestling guy, but anytime that Dwayne's in something, it's always just better. So I'm convinced that because The Rock's in it, that it'll be good.
I agree, man. I'm all about The Rock. And even Hawkman, that his outfit, Dr.
Looks
Fate.
great. Oh,
Come
man,
on.
Dr. Fate looks so good.
So good. So good. So I'm really hoping that DC can pick up the ball and run. Shazam 2's coming up. I love Shazam. My favorite Ramones song is on the soundtrack. There was so much I loved about it.
I did not hate the second Suicide Squad. I thought it was pretty entertaining.
I've not seen it.
Oh, it's good. And have you not seen Peacemaker?
I love Peacemaker.
Oh, so then you have to watch the second Suicide Squad then.
You're right. Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know. I just couldn't I didn't even suffer through the entire original Suicide Squad, but it was too much
bad.
for me.
It was like
awful.
Cringy bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't see the second one. But you're right. I'm going to go back and watch that, and hopefully that tides me over until season 2 of Peacemaker.
Also, I'll say it: the Nolan Batmans are the best Batmans to date. I'll say it.
I'm going to say something really unpopular. I like Superman versus Batman, the extended cut.
See, in my head, that was like a top 5 worst movie I've ever seen ever.
Did you see the extended one?
No, I didn't.
It's way better. It's like Justice League. Like the extended Justice League, like unfortunately was like 4 hours. But if you didn't see it, the last 10 minutes are so good because I hated Justice League in the theaters. And when I saw that 4-hour the different Snyder version, my son insisted on watching it. So I did it. And I'm telling you, it was so much better. And if you haven't seen it, I know it's a big investment of time, but especially even if you fast forward to the last 10 minutes, there's a futuristic scene that demands a sequel.
I'm also going to put out a very unpopular opinion. Superman may be the superhero I hate the most.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. And I think he's got some of the worst supervillains as well. I did it.
Oh, Lewis, he's done.
I broke PBS.
An accomplishment.
I love how prepared he is.
All right. We all know Batman's the best anyway, so we can move past Superman.
Read Jamie's comment.
Jamie says, "Don't give Lewis a heart attack." Yeah, no, that's true. We got to ease up off the pedal a little bit. All right, I'm taking my foot off the gas. I love Superman, Lewis.
And Jamie says, "Lou, don't break the soundboard again."
Right.
My
so
God.
I get. Oh, Chris Hebert says, "What's up, guys? Love Jaws music." Well, we all agree on Werewolf by Night. I mean, that was amazing. So there we go. How about
really
that?
Good.
Wow.
Feel better now, Lewis? We'll talk about Werewolf by Night. That was good.
I feel better.
So Lewis was not at the Blitzkrieg versus Limitless show, so he missed the match we're talking about. But I felt like,
Lewis.
Yeah, nice job.
I was busy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I was at SmackDown.
Like
That's
Pro Wrestling Grind. Yeah. See, choices.
I was
get
at
it. You're all about big business, not mom and pops. We get it, Lewis.
My son bought the ticket, so I had to go.
Yeah, blame it on Cody. Sorry, Cody.
Yep.
Sorry. He did it again.
So let his son take the bullet. There you go. There it is.
Yeah.
No shame either. Just yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no, I
throw his
have
kid
no
right under
shame.
the bus. Right under the bus.
I,
Nice job.
I have no shame. I mean, I have my business partner chiming in, my other business partner over here. They know I have no shame.
We
God,
love that
yes.
about you.
You are the ill co-host.
Oh,
But my
Jack.
point is that, you go to a Blitzkrieg show, and we did have some newbies in the audience, which is cool. Like, I always love it when you've got some people who aren't like hardened wrestling fans there.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
Jimmy
sure.
Dolan says we've seen your pants. Yeah. Hopefully you've got them on.
Yeah, I
But
do tonight.
but at this show in particular, there was like some great moments. Like when your match happened with Mike Anthony, there were some audible gasps. And I think that one of the things about your matches that happens at a lot of shows like Blitzkrieg, like I feel like it's really different if you're at a GCW show. When you're at a GCW show, you're generally kind of knowing what to expect. You're going to see more hardcore. You might see some death matches. You could see tax. You're going to see some blood. But
Yep.
at a Blitzkrieg show, they occasionally have like Nick Gage there, and you're there, and there's some other guys who take it all the way. And there's some people there who weren't ready. There was a guy in front of me who I honestly thought might pee in his pants. Like when you guys were on the outside of the ring, you took this throw into the chairs, which is nothing new, but it wasn't just like, kind of a very calculated sort of landing on the flat part, the seat. You were like taking down all the rows. Like you went all the way back to the vendor table.
Well, I think I upset Mr. Anthony after I gave him that back chop that everybody in the building next door heard.
That was unbelievably loud. And it was out of nowhere, too. The match is kind of going along at a pace. And all of a sudden, Mike Anthony turns his back, which is the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes of the night. And this echoing gunshot went off. It was insane. Poor Mike Anthony.
Yeah. But the night would get pretty interesting for the both of us. So
yeah,
it went back and forth.
Well, it was funny too because you yelled really loud, and I hope I'm not misquoting you, but there was a really funny moment where you were in the ring and kind of reeling a little bit. He came in and he was coming up behind you, and the crowd was kind of cheering, and you're like, "Uh-oh, he's gonna do something stupid."
Oh no! I said he's not crazy. I said he's stupid, and I have the words that I can't say on the air in there.
Yeah. And then he put the sheet from one of the chairs around your face, and he was going crazy. Man, that was awesome. That was such an entertaining match.
I don't know if you could see it from your angle, but there was one point when we were on the outside before I did the running flip into him. I put coat hangers in his mouth and was pulling back on his mouth.
Oh, I didn't see the coat hangers. I saw you pulling on his mouth really hard, but I didn't know there were coat hangers.
I used the hooks on the top of the coat hangers and put it in his mouth and yanked back on him.
Oh, I was behind my table and it ran up, so I must have missed that part. Oh my God. It's a match he'll remember. He does have a souvenir on his forehead.
Yeah, he won't forget that one anytime soon.
But now, go ahead, Louis.
No, Jamie says that's amazing. We actually have to have Jamie come down and come to a live event, either Blitzkrieg or Grind. When we were backstage, you were saying that your opponent was not prepared for you at Blitzkrieg. Was that correct?
I think he might have. What's the word I'm looking for?
Underestimated?
Yeah, underestimated me. Yeah.
Okay. So he, by underestimating you, he wasn't ready for hardcore? He just thought it was going to be a straight up regular match, or he just wasn't ready for you?
Well, right before the match start, I told the ring announcer, Ethan Scott, shout out to Ethan, he's all right.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That it was going to be doctor's rules, which means there are no rules. So he found out just as we were getting started. His name was already on the dotted line, and then he found out.
Oh, geez. I do have a standard question for all our guests on Faces and Heels. Sure. What was it like the first time you walked out of Gorilla and you saw a sign with your name on it?
I don't know if I've seen signs with my name on it yet, but I've definitely had people just like get right in my face. And I work for another company where VXS, me and Jack were talking about this earlier, where they sometimes give me a live microphone, and it's never a good idea. It never is. But people like to engage with me, and I like to push buttons, and it gets very intense and just words that I probably can't say on here because you guys will get mad at me, and you'll have to edit stuff, and we don't want to do that. And especially on the West Coast, for some reason, California and Vegas, those fans, they like come right at me, and I have just let them have it every time.
And it's really interesting. I have a young friend who he's about to graduate high school, and I told him that he should watch this episode because I said to him, "Here's some good life advice. If you ever are about to get in a fight with someone and they have a look in their eyes like Dr. Redacted, you shouldn't fight them because they mean it. Like if they tell you they're going to destroy you, they're really going to do it. Like because there's a lot of guys who talk shit and don't actually deliver.
Yeah.
But like there was a moment, like we talked about this, but there was a moment at the Blitzkrieg show where you were about to do like a run towards Mike Anthony, and
I got in an older man's face, and I let him know that he needs to get out of the way, or else.
Yeah, and it was like I sincerely was scared for him. I thought, oh my God, like, I don't think he realizes what's about to happen. And thankfully, he smartened up and moved. But that was really genuinely intense. Like it's authentic. And I think that's something that is the reason that, you are all over the place. You're in California, you're in Vegas, you're here. It's like you're all over because people, you can't sell that. That's just something you have. And like there's a palpable intensity that you don't necessarily see with some guys who are quote unquote hardcore.
Yeah, there's definitely been a few times where, especially on that show that I sent you, I told you to watch, the VXS show, where the audio is kind of bad, but there's a young man in the front who I definitely insulted him and his mother and asked, maybe what trailer park they crawled out of. And
I believe you invited him in the ring too. I think you were holding the ropes for him.
He kept saying that he wanted to engage in combat, and I said, "Well, why don't you get in here and do something about it then?" And then he backed out in front of everybody. So,
right. But that's what I mean. Like, I think people can sense that because I think most men who have lived through their 20s have at some point or another been in some sort of a confrontation or a fight, and you get to know who means it and who doesn't. And I just think like that was a prime example of like he knew that his mouth was running, but he couldn't cash the check. And that's exactly why he backed down. And I'm sure that happens with you all the time because this wasn't like a one-off situation.
And it's funny too, because I'll have some fans that I guess this is like pulling back the curtain a little bit, but that will like approach me after the match and they'll like appreciate that I can like go back at them, but then like they're like, but we really enjoy your work. And that's like really nice to hear, but it's like kind of confusing at the same time. Like we love that you can insult us and take insults, but you're really good. Like, okay, sure.
But it's a unique skill. I mean, I think that is one of the things about you that isn't like you're not ever going to mix up anyone else's work with yours. Like there's certain wrestlers, like even in some of your other personas, which I don't even know how much you want to talk about, but like my son, who's now 15 years old, there were two wrestlers who he loved immediately when he went to his first indie show, and it was CPA and you, and it was the American Beetle.
Yeah.
And it immediately he was like, who's this guy?
Yeah, well, that was a very what's the word? Captivating, like looking like outfit and design. We don't need to dive too much into that persona, but it's definitely weird going from being like the goodest of good guys. Goodest isn't a word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
To
of course, it's a word.
The person who is getting in your face and inviting you to fight him in the ring.
Yeah, right. And I mean, it's interesting because I won't name the promotion because I'm not trying to talk badly about them, but I also don't want to talk smack. But there was a promotion I went to that was in the Northeast, and they kind of fancy themselves as like a GCW type promotion, hardcore. You're going to see baseball bats, you're going to see barbed wire and all this, and they even had an ECW, alumni there. But I never bought into it. And I was first row. I was right in the front, and I really wanted to take it in. And there wasn't a single time that I was scared for anybody. It just didn't feel authentic. And that's why it is. And there was even a point where like, the steps, like the ring steps, they were going to break. and the guy acted like all scared that he was going to fall through it. And I'm like, dude, what? Like, what is that? That's what you're scared of? Like, what are you going to get, a splinter? And so I just feel like that it stands out even more for a lot of the fans who've been to those kind of promotions and then see you. And like, even at the beer bash that Blitzkrieg had, your match where you took the skewers and pounded them into that.
Right in his
oh
head.
my God.
Well, I told that young child that I wanted him to see me in his nightmares.
I saw that picture of the skewers. I when I was looking for a picture to put on here, just to let our listeners know that you said, "Hey, no camera," because you didn't want the FBI to come after you.
Exactly.
When I was looking for exactly. When I was looking for a picture, I saw the one with the skewers, and I was like, "Nah, I can't put that one up," because you guys heard me searching for a picture. I was like, "Nope, can't put that one. We'll go to the next one." This one says psychotic all over it. Yeah, we'll put that one there. What's the weirdest thing a fan has asked you to sign, if any?
Just like destroyed weapons, pieces of doors, chairs, just weird stuff like that. I've never gotten to. So actually, I don't know this guy's name, and I'm not like mad or anything. I was definitely caught off guard though. A fan at the Blitzkrieg show printed out their own 8x10 of me and had me sign it. And at first I was like, do I charge this person for this? Like, I don't know how this works. I signed it. I didn't charge him. I did not charge the person. I'm also not encouraging people to go out and print out 8x10s of me because I do intend to get them soon.
Nice.
But I was like, I don't know if this has happened. I don't know anyone this has ever happened to. But okay, sure.
Wow, interesting.
Too. I should have asked him where he got it.
Yeah, he should have made one for you.
Yeah, but so
that is just insane.
I had a similar experience happen when I was at actually New York Comic Con. This was maybe 5-6 years ago. But a fan came up to me. He had printed out his own image from somehow he got it online. One of the prints that I had done of Batman and Spider-Man with another artist. And he's like,
I sold it to him.
Never mind. That's it.
The evil co-host.
But it was on like really nice paper, really nice quality. And I'm like, I know I didn't put up any high quality JPEGs like this online. And he comes over and wants me to sign it. And I'm like, dude, I'm selling these. I'm not signing this. Like, come on, give me a break. So I hear you. Like, I've been there, but I just felt like I think you should just go away with this right now.
Now, counter question. Now that you're bringing that up, because I know it's a weird thing with certain artists and writers at conventions, is the CGC stuff. How do you feel about signing for that? Because I know who's the guy who does First Infinity Gauntlet, was it? Where he won't allow the CGC people to like observe.
Starlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, I'd never ever charge for signatures ever, unless it's somebody who I know is just trying to make money reselling, and then I charge for signatures. So in that case, like, I charge, but I never charge a fan because, like, if they bought it, why would I think it's an insult for me to charge them money? So I wouldn't do that.
I agree.
But yeah, like I had a guy one time come up with like literally like a stack of 50 copies of a Batman comic I worked on. And I'm like, I'll sign whatever you want, man, but it's $5 each after the first one because you're just going to sell these to people, and that's not cool for me.
It was funny. Similar situation. I used to go to a lot of cons, like all over the place. So at the time, I was my then girlfriend, now enemy. We went to North Carolina. It's a really good line. Come on, that's really good. We're actually not enemies. We're good friends. We went to this convention in North Carolina, and Daniel Way was there, and I wanted to get some Deadpool stuff signed because the Daniel Way Deadpool stuff I thought was probably the best Deadpool stuff. And some guy came up with a long box for him, and he was promoting some book that I don't know, and shame on me for not knowing it. And he's like, I'll do 2 for free, and then the rest you're going to agree to a set price. And I was like, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
This guy was clearly taking advantage of his kindness.
Right. And it's like, it's the difference between somebody who's just there to make a profit and somebody who loves it. I just feel like that's a really different situation. But you were a nice guy to sign that for him. I think that's exceptional. But here's another thing I was going to ask you about. And sorry, we're kind of getting back into comics, but with comics, like, do you ever by any Kickstarter or Indiegogo funded projects or anything that's launched on those formats? Because there's some really good stuff.
I'm a bad fan in that sense, and I honestly I was reading so much that I didn't read a lot of the independent stuff. Like the most independent stuff I really read was like I don't even know if you'd consider it independent, but like all the Snyder stuff, just because I really liked Scott's stuff.
Yeah.
Witches, American Vampire.
Right.
I started reading Saga. I never finished it because I'm a jerk. I should have read Wake. I never got to read Wake.
Witches is really good.
Apparently it's becoming a show, I believe.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
A show or a movie?
Yeah, it is on. I believe on Netflix. Excuse me, guys. I sent Jamie the picture of the
Skewers.
The skewers, and it was through a text message, and she says, "Haha, that is so cool! Stabby, stabby, stab." That's the real Jamie Dolan right there. All you guys,
There you go.
all our listeners think that she's a very nice person, but I know the real her. But she says, "Stabby, stabby, stab."
She is a nice person. She is just like many who's a closet wrestling fan that just needs a little push to come out.
No, but she does want to. Jack, she does want to come with us to a next event, so
we'll take her.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, definitely.
We'll introduce her to Kirsten, and they'll both come out to a indie wrestling show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's a question, because this isn't, I think, again, you're not a typical artist in this genre, so I'm wondering, a lot of guys, we'll talk about, they're doing cardio 5 days a week, they're doing this, doing that. How do you prepare your body and your mind for these kind of matches? I would just imagine, just from a fan perspective, there must be days where you're really sore or maybe just not feeling it. Like, how do you get yourself in that place that you have to be?
Honestly, I just work out like any normal person does. Like after we're done with this, I'm going to go to the gym, which is kind of funny. But spoilers. But like, I don't know. When it comes to stuff like this, it's not like, oh, let me second guess it. I'm just like a dum-dum, and I'm like, oh, okay, you want to smash a gusset plate into my head? Yeah, sure, let's do it. I don't know. I mean, there's certain things. I won't name the promoter but a promoter recently asked me, like, are you okay with taking a syringe? And I said,
oh my God.
I went, what? And I've seen it done before, and I know like the gimmick, but I don't mean, I shouldn't say gimmick. I mean, like, I know how like it's gonna suck to take and everything. But I was like, man,
the spot, yeah.
I was like, this guy really just asked me about that. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, we'll figure it out. And that was one where I really had to like sit there and think, like, I don't know about that. But I don't know. I'll end up getting like in the mindset of like, I'm excited and like, yeah, sure. Okay. Let's do something dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
I really like to, I hate being that guy, but like, I just like entertaining. I don't know if like, but like Jack will tell you from the match, like the crowd was in it. There was definitely times where they were horrified, but there was times where they were screaming, "This is awesome," or like, I don't know, they were saying all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, with the syringe, did you do the spot or did you?
That's coming up in November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We'll see if that happens or not.
Have you ever worked a match where it was two different styles, where it wasn't a death match, it wasn't a hardcore match? You were the death match artist, you were the hardcore artist, but you were wrestling a shooter, you were wrestling a brawler or a tech. Did you ever have a match like that?
Yeah. So actually, this is like a two-part. I'll answer it. So in New York, you can't do a lot of crazy stuff. I'm from New York. So whenever I usually wrestle out here, it's, there'll be like very mild, crazy stuff, but nothing like egregious. We'll use the word. We'll keep it PG, so to say. But like, that's like the scenario there. But I've definitely worked a lot of people's first death matches or crazy matches, and yeah, I think I have better chemistry with the people that are like, that don't do the style, and then they come into it, and then we both, like, our creativities both blend, and like make the form of art that we're looking for. If you go on IWTV, I don't know who's got IWTV and who doesn't. There's a match from it's a promotion called Grap House. I believe the name of the event is called Die Lit, and it's me versus a one Sandra Moon, and she is a very good girl wrestler. I know that doesn't really matter, but she's just a really good wrestler. That's what I should say. I'm sorry. And she's from Las Vegas, and it was the first time doing one of these matches, and she killed it. She was great. And the crowd is so invested in this match, and they're so shocked to see her like smashing a gusset plate into my chest, or like her hitting me over the back with a firecracker bat. Like,
Oof.
they're going crazy over it. But then they're going crazy over the fact that I'm taking a baseball bat covered in thumbtacks and smashing her over the head with it, or the fact that I'm smashing barbecue skewers into her head.
Unbelievable.
So it's in scenarios like that. It's like it kind of, I don't want to say makes magic, but it's interesting to see the two styles blend together.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that's in many ways could be what's appealing about some of the matches you have and why there is such a big reaction. Like that beer bash match to me was a good example. It was like, to me, at least what I know of the performer, and I'm forgetting his gimmick right now, but
Stray Cat.
The Stray Cat. Yeah, and he has an awesome sticker, by the way.
He does,
But-
the Starbucks one, right?
Yeah. But when you guys are wrestling, like I saw him come out and just felt like, oh, he's kind of like a Hoss brawler type, and not really knowing a lot about his work. But yeah, you were a completely different category, and it did make for a really interesting contrast.
That match had a really good start with the bag over his head and just throwing him to a fence.
It was great.
We started with attempted murder and then throwing him to a fence, and then I ended up getting
Have you? Oh my God! All right, Doctor. Have you ever had an opponent just say, "No, I'm not working with him"?
I've never had anyone that said no, they wouldn't work with me. I also won't name names here, but I've definitely had people that were like nervous or intimidated, I guess, which is, I mean, I guess they just look at the persona, because I like to think I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm a pretty big Disney
Oh yeah,
fan,
you look
so-
it.
Yeah. So like I'm pretty tame as a person, you know what I mean? But it's funny, I've never had anyone do that, but I've definitely like had people that were hesitant or like nervous.
Okay. So how did you get them to overcome that? Did you like, here, eat this sandwich? Did you do something to make them overcome that? That like, don't worry, you're gonna be safe. I do this all the time. Look, did you do something?
I like to think I'm pretty reassuring, and I think most of them know, like, going into the match, like they know I do this like often, so they can like somewhat trust me. So
Okay. Jamie Dolan commented that you stabbed them with skewers.
yeah. And just recently I started using a taser. That was really
Uh,
exciting.
That was wild.
Yes, you said that backstage. Can you elaborate on that, please?
It was a fans bring the weapons match, which in theory sounds like a terrible idea. I don't know.
Yes, it does.
Who's authorizing that? And I definitely got beaten with an oar at one point while in the trash can.
Yeah, that was rough too. That was
Yeah.
rough. I hope that toilet seat was clean, by the way. That was one of my bigger concerns.
And then that's the worst part is that was the most like shockingly painful thing. Like he like clunked me in the face with it like 4 times. I was like, ow, that hurt. It was like stepping on a Lego, but on my face.
Well, it was funny. It speaks to your precision too, because like you took it and threw it at him, and it went right, like his head went right through the hole.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, oh, look, I got him.
Was I? It was so great. I mean, it just shows that there's nothing random going on. Like it was very well done. It was just.
I definitely did not mean to get it. I didn't even know we were going to use that. So that was definitely like at one point I got pelted with limes in that match, and I was like, what is this? First I thought they were crab apples, and I was like, oh, that's not.
All right, so let's get back to the taser. It was a fans bring the weapons.
Yeah, but I brought this one.
Okay. All
my
right.
opponent is a very large gentleman. His name is Hunter Freeman, and he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's big, and he's like an ex-Marine and everything. And I know he's good. He's real good. So I knew going into this one, I had to bust out some new tricks, so to say. So I kept a taser to the side in a Disney trick-or-treat bag that I got at the Halloween party. No big deal. And just when I had to pull out the big guns, I decided, well, let's turn it on. That crowd was terrified, and I buzzed him in the back. And by buzzed, I mean electrocuted him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, did any of the boys in the locker room know you had that?
One person did.
Really?
Yeah, I made sure to keep that one a secret. That's to me, that was one of those things where it's like, this sounds like it could be like really, really crazy. Because I think when people think taser, they think like self-defense weapons. And then, unfortunately, when you think self-defense weapons, you think like pepper spray, knives, guns. And I didn't want like anyone to like immediately just have their heads race to there. So I was like, this will be a fun surprise. And it was. And I don't know if you've ever heard a taser, but it makes a sound you never forget.
Yeah. Jamie and I were going to do something with a taser at one time, but it didn't go as planned. We never ended up doing it. I'll have to tell Jack off camera.
You can also get them off Amazon for very cheap too.
Oh. So what did he? What did he do? I mean, what was his reaction after
he got electrocuted, screamed in pain?
I know.
And then I put my foot in the back of his head and smashed it into the chair. And then I won.
And then you won. After the match, after you won, and you guys were back in the locker room, did he say anything to you about it?
So I guess we'll pull back the curtain again. He definitely knew that the taser was coming, and he was a little apprehensive about it at first. And I assured him, I said, we will very much stand out if we do this. And he at first was like, all right, let me think about it. Because apparently his brother is an electrician, and his brother may have gotten electrocuted once. And like, I guess he just associated the two and was like kind of nervous about it. But then he was like, obviously, there's no pressure. If you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it. It's fine. Because, we trust each other, and that's like the whole idea of it. And, you have to respect other people's yays and nays, and that's fine. And it would have been fine if we didn't use it. But he agreed to it, and I'll tell you, that crowd also agreed to it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This absolutely amazing.
The salt was upsetting for him, I'm sure, too.
Yes. So what's funny about that is at first I pull out his staple gun. He brought a staple gun to the ring, and I used it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I said, somebody give me money. And they all booed me. Yeah. But then I stapled just one normal staple to his head, and then you saw the dollar bills fly up. At one point, the guy's got $5 on his limbs. And then I was like, staple gun's not my style. But I was like, I'll use it. And then I was like, I'm just going to go to the skewers because I like using those. And then I started putting the skewers in his head, and some girl in the front row, well, not front row, but like up close, because they don't have rows in California, it's just standing, is like visibly horrified by this. And I expressed to her that she should, we'll use the phrase grow up. But I may have used more choice language. Right. And then someone handed me already opened salt, like an entire thing of it. And I was like, okay, one in Rome, and then just poured salt all in his wounds.
Yeah,
it was great.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you again, just like I was and I mean this, like I was genuinely clenching up in concern for that older gentleman at the Blitzkrieg show, but I was just as worried for that commentator who I was like, oh my God, if he hears what this commentator's saying, this guy is gonna get hurt too.
What's even funnier about that scene, that's another real cringe scene too, because I like to get a little cocky sometimes, and I'm sitting here doing commentary during my own match, and then this guy slams a gusset plate into my forehead right at the commentary thing. Yeah. That thing just went right in. Like that thing immediately like went deep stuck in. And Lewis, I don't know if you know what a gusset plate is, but it's used.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's used on building houses and bridges, and it's just like a small, like, thing with lots of.
My God, you got one of those?
Yeah, you can look the pictures up. They're on there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I am. Yeah, it's used to build. I'm looking at a gusset plate right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time. I have to just
Yeah,
squeeze
we
in one
are.
more question, and I'm sorry that I apologize. I'm sure you've been asked this before,
Sure.
but I'm just curious because the answer might be obvious. But what is it about the green mist that appeals to you, and why is that one of the trademarked offensive weapons you use?
Oh, so growing up, I was a big ECW fan. I discovered it on MSG. If anyone knows what MSG is, the channel.
Madison Square Garden Network.
Yep. And it was always on at some ridiculous time, usually like 1 or 2 a.m., something ridiculous like that. And there was a wrestler on there named Tajiri, and he used it. And he got it from the great Muda, who I saw on WCW at the time, because I wasn't smart. I was like in 4th grade, so I wasn't smart to like tape trading yet. And I always saw them use it, and I was like, that's like the coolest thing ever. And I like the allure behind it. And every time, like, even though people know like I use it or whatever, every time it gets used, you always hear "oh" in the crowd, and it just adds something different to it. And it's also like I'm not an Asian guy doing it, so everyone's even more surprised by that. And I don't know, I just think it's a nice little touch.
It is,
and the disease in you.
Oh God.
Let me just praise the commentators for a second though, because I don't know what this is like, but it seemed to me like they were making it sound like it smelled really horrible, and he was like pretending he was gonna vomit and stuff. Like that was kind of cool that he threw that in as like, whoa, what's this horribly toxic stuff Dr. Redacted spitting in the face of his opponent?
Well, I also so that's Jordan, and peeling back the curtain for the 3rd time now. I know Jordan quite well, and back when I used to have we'll say, deformed face, and I would use the green mist, Jordan came up with the idea of like, oh, should we put over that it smells or something? And I was like, yeah, run with it. Let's do something different. Because you never hear that. You just hear, oh, that's poisonous or whatever.
Yeah.
But so to throw the smell thing on top of it, I got to tell you, it gets me the weirdest questions. I've had people approach me and be like, so what does it smell like? Like, and like, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you gotta show up and find out. And it's just so fun. Like, I can't wait for the one day where like I like the corner of my eye see someone like with like their like face like darted out, like trying to smell it.
That's so funny. That's awesome. I love that. I just thought that was such a cool touch to that match. But we're running out of time, so I want to make sure we don't shortchange you. And thank you so much, first of all, for being here. This is such an amazing.
You're definitely welcome back, man. I mean, I had a blast tonight.
Yeah, we only covered like recent stuff. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff.
Totally, there really is. Like we could really dig way deep, but we're gonna be done in like a minute. But if you don't mind hanging for just a moment, we won't take too much more of your time. Just want to make sure I get to say bye. But can you tell us a little bit tell our listeners, like, where can they find you? And you've got some really cool merch, and I think you have another really cool piece coming up soon. But can you tell us, where can fans purchase your merch, and where can they see you perform?
So I have the first shirt design I did is available at Fully Gimmicked. I'm really bad. It's in my Instagram, like the links thing there.
Mm-hmm.
On Instagram, I'm Steve X Huey. On Twitter, you can find me under Dr. X Redacted, and it's Doctor as in DR. And then Facebook is nothing really spectacular, but if you want to find me on there, it's just under Steve Huey. The merch, I'm actually sold out of merch currently right now. I have a new shirt design coming out. I think I showed you, Jack. I don't know, but it has Richard Nixon from Futurama's on it. It's got the box from Hellraiser. It's got it's got all kinds of little Easter eggs, we'll say, all over the shirt. It also might have the death of a certain box-headed guy. You never know.
Right.
But that shirt will be up. It'll be on all the socials. If you want a shirt, just reach out to me and I'll mail it out. I'm really good at mailing stuff out right away.
I'm not.
I can tell you're the evil co-host. I definitely just recently, like when I was in California, I made my friend who I was staying with. I was like, we got to stop at the post office. I got to mail out a shirt and to some kid in Tennessee. And it was funny because in the post office, they just had a cat that lives in the post office. And I was like, okay, sure. But yeah, so socials are everything's on there. I'm always constantly plugging shows. I post really stupid things too, sometimes funny things. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Are we going to be seeing you around like any East Coast appearances that you can think of off the top of your head this year?
Yeah. East Coast right off the top of my head. November 5th, I'm in South Jersey for IFC. That's Inferno Fight Club. It's me and Bam Sullivan.
Nice.
In a tag team match because we had a war first, which you can see that on YouTube. It's very bloody. That was insane blood. Then the next week, I'm in the same venue again, but for ICW, where I'm taking on the Carver. And that's going to be a actual horror movie. That is going to be a full-blooded death match inside of the chains where there will be no ropes and there'll be chains instead of ropes. And I don't know if you've ever seen the ICW product before, but it's probably the best American deathmatch company around. More East Coast. I believe I don't know if I can say the show.
Sorry, I don't want to drag anything out that you shouldn't say. But hopefully, we'll see you around Blitzkrieg in the near future again. You know, they'll be running every month, so hopefully it won't be too long.
For sure, I'll give a brief idea that Blitzkrieg, you will probably most likely, almost positively see me near the new year. We'll say.
Nice, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
All right. Thank you very much. Jack, please tell everyone where they can find you. Some terrific artwork, especially with the holiday season just around the corner.
That's right. You can find me on patreon.com. Just search Jack Purcell. I'm there. All my pro wrestling artwork is there. I don't post the full pieces anywhere else. You can see the pencils, the inks, the colors, a bunch of my comic book stuff. I randomly post Batman pages and stuff like that. So you can support me. It's not expensive. You can get commissions at a discount there if you're looking for something. So do hit me up. And you can find me at Jack Purcell Inc. INK on Instagram and on Facebook. I'm just normal old Jack Purcell 38 on Twitter. I'm kind of low key down there, but we're on Faces and Heels is actually on TikTok. Lewis and I aren't dancing. There's nothing crazy going on. It's just trying to figure out how do we figure out our identity on TikTok. But if you want to come have a laugh at our expense, check it out. Faces and Heels podcast on Facebook, Faces and Heels on Instagram. And then Lewis Perry is going to tell you about the network and where you can find him.
You can find Faces and Heels on the Angry Geeks Show Network, but you can find me each and every Monday night with my co-host, my sister from another mister, the one and only, that Wonder Woman, Jamie Dolan, and our psychic, Quinderella, every Monday night as we bring you the best in movies, comic books, authors, everything. We bring it to you live, streaming across all the social media. As we just bring that crap to you, you can go to our website, find our podcasts. You can find our videos, all our shenanigans on the website or all across the social media. My God, I keep being so redundant now. I'm used to them doing all this. Anyway, just go to theangrygeekshow.com. You can find everything there. Buy some merch and subscribe. And you can find us on Roku and on Amazon by just downloading the Pod TV app, and you can see us. I'm Lewis. That's Jack. Make sure you check us out each and every Monday and Tuesday night as we stream live. We'll see you guys next week. See ya. You have been watching The Angry Geek Show on Pod TV. Visit our website today. And for guest bookings, email us at theangrygeekshow@gmail.com today.